Hello again. I was enchanted to read this morning about a bunch of very old people being injured. I do not mean by that I felt the thrill of schadenfreude at their misfortune, you understand. Merely that I was overcome with admiration. No fewer than 8 people in their 90s were obliged to seek medical attention after playground injuries during the lockdowns. Although nowhere near 90 yet, I still cannot resist ropes hanging from trees or, indeed, monkey bars in a park. It seems that many people sustained a lot of odd injuries in the course of the various lockdowns, including a 90-year-old woman who was bitten by a crocodile. And just how she managed that in Britain, I suppose we will never know. My wife and I wondered at one point during the first lockdown if it would be possible to go downstairs headfirst on one's hands and knees. Luckily, I realised after the first couple of steps that this was not apt to end well, and so abandoned the attempt. But thinking now of those 90-year-olds falling from playground equipment gave me a glorious surge of optimism. It is no secret that I have in general little time for old people, finding them slow and annoying. But these characters really do deserve our approval. It quite restores my faith in human nature. Instead of shuffling along carefully and getting in everybody's way, they evidently thought, what the hell, and leapt onto swings and roundabouts to see if they were still able to control the things, which apparently some cases they were not. I can incidentally think of few better ways to die in old age than falling from a climbing frame like that in a park and breaking one's neck. Most old people seem to end up lingering in hospital beds as they become sicker and sicker until even breathing puts an impossible strain upon the constitution. All your relatives sitting around bored and irritated in equal measure and sneaking surreptitious glances at their mobiles to see what the time is and if they can decently slip off soon. It's a dreadful prospect. How much better to be in full command of one's faculties and to try and climb to the top of some playground structure and then slip, ending one's life in an instant and probably leaving the family embarrassed about the circumstances of your death, trying to explain it to their friends, perhaps blaming it on dementia. The older I get, the less I seem to care about death, and this strikes me as a particularly good sort of death. On his deathbed, somebody asked Disraeli, Britain's only Jewish Prime Minister of course, how he felt about his prospects. His reply perfectly sums up the correct attitude of the thinking person towards death. He said, "I had rather live, but I'm not afraid to die." I suspect that those people in their 90s who were fooling around in playgrounds and parks had a precisely similar outlook.